as if I'm getting oh yeah, you know, there are actually people watching this. No. Um now what I wanted to say is so you said you were talking to one of Endesire friends and you said something along the lines of um it must be really demotivating to look at what people are doing on Osu now and going and wanting to play the game, which is really interesting. Is that something that you feel people think, or is that just something that you're applying to other people? This is just your own thoughts on the game. Is it if you were a new player?
Um, yeah, well, it's more of an assumption because something that I've experienced and I do experience, and I feel like well, I don't interact with the community. I mean, I have a couple of friends and I watch some Twitch streams and that's it. So it's hard to say, but it's something that I do and I've done, and I feel like there probably is a lot of people out there that like newer to the game or maybe around my level or even a bit better than me that do that, because the game has changed a lot in the last couple of years, right? If I look at what was possible a couple of years ago, like let's see the first, so like 2023, I'll look at like what was going on, what people were doing in like 2023 compared to now. There's a huge difference. um
You're
what
getting
was about
way
to
too you're getting way too self-indulgent in what you're talking about. Because there's no way I'm gonna understand that and that's what you tell me about. It's not really what I'm not trying to get into specific examples. Just in a general sense, you're telling me so people are doing better things now, and that's something that I'm guessing you feel demotivated by that. You feel
uh
the am I right on that? You feel demotivated by people being even better, but I'm guessing relative to you, you're not where you think you should be.
right, okay, I guess, yeah.
Um, but I think this is this is my guess, my intuition. This is probably a hyper delusion, unless I'm not really understanding what you're saying. In terms of a new player. Now I don't know what you mean by new player. I mean, let's say me. I mean, I don't, I have no concept of playing Osu. Of what Osu looks like at a high level in comparison. I look at Kukizi as let's say I've him beating Big Black. For me, I don't have the eye, I don't have the acumen to be able to distinguish what makes that worse than what people are doing today, let alone what people are doing in 2023 to compared to now. So if you're a new player, you really doubt you would ever you would just see, oh, people are really fast and really crazy on this game. I don't think you'd be able to distinguish, oh yeah, this is so much better, unless somebody was inducing you to that thought by telling you, oh, by the way, this guy's way better. Oh, look at what he's doing, and sort of being a careful guiding hand and sort of showing them, oh, this is better, this is not. I think it's next level delusion if you think that people are going, oh, I'm really demotivated by people being really good at the game, I don't want to play the game. I think it's actually in despite of that. I think people see cool shit's happening on the game. I'm talking about a new player, I'm talking about fresh. I'm talking about, I just installed the game, probably installed it because you saw people doing really cool stuff and go, okay, let's get to that point. Let's do it. I think it's probably intermediate level players that are struggling to improve, that are going, oh wow, I'm not even getting to this level. You know, when am I going to get to this level? I want to be at this level. This is what I grew up watching. It'll probably be those people that are actually a little bit more terrified. I mean, what do you think of what I just said? I think that's a fair intuition. Because
Sounds,
I don't
yeah,
talk
yeah, it
because I
does
don't talk
sound
to
very
Osu players.
realistic, right?
I don't talk to Osu players. I don't know what the new Osu player is thinking. But that's my guess. I think they would be, oh, this is really sick. I want to, reach a semblance of what these people are doing. Oh, Penis is streaming, nice.
Yeah, penis.
Um, and so, and the fact that you said that, yeah, I think you are revealing. All right, move off topic a little bit. Let me just build up a concept for you. I think the way we think, we sort of assume other people think the same way. Um, I think I do that, especially when I'm a very internal person, and I don't talk to that many people. And so when I see other people, I expect them to act like me, and when they don't, it's really confusing for me. Go, oh wait, people don't think, in these ways. I don't know if you've had the same thing, or notice yourself doing the same thing, but it may be now to get back onto topic, right? In terms of, you might just have a mindset that where you think particular things that all people think, but the way you react to the way you think is just quite vastly different from the way other people would think. And so let's say a mindset of somebody getting deeply uncomfortable with them failing to reach a particular level, for other people that might be like crack for them to improve at a game because they're not doing as well. It's a wake up call. Hey, that was a wake up call. I don't know if you've ever heard, sort of, stories of athletes or whatever, but this is a phrase that's used a lot. That's a wake up call, is in terms of they notice that they're doing really badly, or they're doing something, it's like, oh, let's say they go on a drug infested, sort of recovery stories of drug addicts. They'll go, oh, that was a wake up call. My veins started disappearing. I can't even use that vein anymore. It's the wake up call. For some people, it's they see these, I guess, wake up calls, and they go, oh, okay. I realize, they have a glimpse into sort of a reality, and maybe it's not reality, but their brain sort of shifts, and they go, this is not okay. The what I'm doing right now is not okay. And some people just go, they further indulge into it because it's a really uncomfortable thought, and so they further indulge in what they were doing. Or some other people, it's really motivating for them. I really need to do better, and it's something that they can eventually overcome through careful consideration of their actions. Or whatever. That is just a drug example, right? And so for you, you feel you're sort of looking at yourself and going, okay, I'm not improving. Now I don't know how true that is, because I'm sort of taking your word for it, and I don't even know if I should trust your word, because you do seem a little bit defeatist in terms of the way you view your progress and how good you are at the game. And so what I would say is that and just now if you told me this and I didn't really know much about you, I'd just go, oh, you just have a poor mindset. I think I've known you for a while now. I think you have a horrifying mindset, in terms of it, just in relation to other things, that talking with now, as I said, I have to sort of intuit a lot of how other people feel. Maybe they do. Maybe they do feel the way you do, but probably not in terms of, or at least like the normal. I say normal. There is no normal, but sort of someone that's able to function in society in a way where they're not having, let's say, mental anguish or depressive episodes. I think those people, in terms of how they internalize information, is probably really different. In terms of, some people might get really violent instead, start beating people up. Let's say, somebody says, sort of, I've seen, you probably know about this archetype just because it's so common in media, but, sort of the, brute, where, you say something mean about them, and so they, want to beat the fuck out of you. For them, it's, that's what makes them feel good. They're not super like internalizing it. They're not feeling mental anguish. It's sort of, an in the moment thing. And so they get really impulsive and then start beating the shit out of you. And maybe they do internalize it to some degree, but, as to what degree, I don't know. And I think when you talk about, so we had this conversation the other day when you were talking about I was making the joke about the ACOG site, where, oh yeah, the people are just getting on ACOG sites and seeing that you have nails walking around. So it was really unlikely that people are going, you just think about the last time you looked at somebody's nails walking around. Maybe if people see your nails, you have them on a counter or something, and then people ask about them, but yeah, you're probably in conversational distance with them. But I think if you're just walking around, I don't think most people are looking at people's nails, because I don't I don't remember the last time I looked at somebody's nails. That would have to be really gaudy for me to go, oh wow, you've got these, really bright shiny nails. Usually I'm not. Now that could just be me. I'm super putting my worldview on other people, but I really doubt people are really looking. And then you have to take a subsection of those people that are looking to go, oh yeah, I'm going to make a comment about this. A really negative comment to another person about. It's probably really low. This is probably just not that common to do. I wouldn't say. But for you, it's something that thought is in your mind. That, people could be doing this stuff to you. And think about other people that present themselves in a way that's not societally accepted in the places that they're from. Think about people that are in, Bible Belt America that present themselves in a more homoerotic way or feminine way of a man and a masculine way of a woman. Think about these people, right? They're in an area they know is deeply against what they're for, but they still engage in, their particular ways of presentation. They're very provocative. I shouldn't say provocative, but in the other people's are probably fairly provocative. But they're very happy to be open about who they are, and I guess some of these people are just not feeling mental anguish about presenting themselves in a particular way. This doesn't really bother them. It's just a part of the course of these people, ignorant or whatever they tell themselves to not feel a particular way, right? And I just go, the way you the way that over the years of talking to you, the way you sort of internalize information, I think it's probably really destructive. I think a lot of the sort of ways you feel about yourself are probably, now this is just my own theory on things, so, take it with a grain of salt, but I think a lot of pain people feel is probably the way that they internalize information, not necessarily the information that's being given to them. As in, some people could receive the same information, and another person would feel suicidal, and another person just wouldn't even give a fuck and not pay any attention. I think I'd be really, and when you're engaging in OSU, I think part of your mindset, I think these are probably all connected in terms of the way you're internalizing information about yourself and the way that you're putting yourself down. It seems like a constant pattern of that you just put yourself down. You don't trust yourself in a particular way that, I would, or, other people that are more confident in themselves would, that don't have, depression or whatever. And I would super consider that when you're engaging with OSU and when you're getting into, thoughts of, okay, who am I comparing myself to? What do I consider good? And is this something that's being induced by the area that I exist in? And is this a fair thought for me? And even if it's a fair thought for me, should I feel really bad about it to the point of not enjoying something? You should really consider all these things. And they're probably things that you should super consider instead of, sort of the path you're going down. I think you're always going to get to the point of, you get really into stuff to the point where you play them a lot. And I think you're always going to get to the point of feeling really bad about yourself if you don't have a massive shift in mindset. What do you think about what is it?
Could you repeat the ending?
Okay, so I basically gave you a prescription in terms of probably have a TLDR, you have a mindset that induces negative feelings in you in the way that you internalize information, and so you should really consider, instead of just taking a break from a game, in taking a break from OSU, you should super consider just how you're looking at things and how you're receiving information in terms of, okay, you don't think yourself to be that good at the game, but think about it in terms of, yeah, you don't think yourself too good at the game. That's not it's the case that you don't think yourself good at the game to the point where you're not enjoying yourself playing the game. It's affecting you deeply, to the point where, yeah, you're not enjoying yourself playing the game to the point where you want to take a break from playing the game. That's sort of, the mental anguish you're feeling about the game. I would super consider the way you're feeling, the way, and this is probably a super general thing. I think this is probably a thing that goes way beyond also. you should super consider the way you're looking at things, the way you're taking in information, and the way you're feeling about certain things. Okay, why am I feeling so bad about this? Because um, you exist in you. I think a lot of your anguish is going to be self-imposed, and it's not going to be fun. I really don't think it's going to be that fun. To I think it's probably holding you back from um it's not an also thing. I probably think it's holding you back from so many different things in terms of the way you want to present yourself to your family, in terms of, you have to deny, particular aspects of yourself to your family, or, why you haven't got your nails painted, or just other things in general. I think a lot of these things are probably all connected. At least I feel connected to me in a really intuitive way. I don't think I could fully explain why, outside of what I just explained, but that's how I feel about it.
Hmm. I feel like if they would be like really connected, like with OCO, I feel like the main reason that I get so discouraged is just I have high expectations for myself and I don't meet those expectations, and then it makes me feel bad to know that I can't meet those expectations. Because I have things that I want to achieve, and if I'm not even meeting the expectations I've set for myself, then I doubt myself and I don't believe I can get anywhere.
So do you see why? So this is exactly what I was talking about. It's there is information that you internalize, right? But the way so we all collect the same information. We all go, okay, I have goals to achieve. I'm not, it seems like I'm not reaching the goals that I set for myself. There are different ways to react to this. This isn't just, okay, I feel this way, and so I'm gonna feel, because it goes beyond, you just feeling, bad about it. It's to the point where, okay, now my play sessions are not even fun anymore. Now I'm just addicted to the game. I'm playing it beyond the point of, having fun. I'm actually not enjoying myself, and now I want to stop playing the game. I think the first part, I agree with you. This is probably how you feel. But the second part, the conclusion that you come to based on that information, is probably something that is particular to you. I don't think that's a universal thing at all to feel, where you feel. These are feelings that I completely understand, because I've heard so many other people feel the same way in these situations. But I don't think these are the only way to feel about a certain situation. And that second part, which is how you interpret that information and how your feelings change based on that information, that's probably something that you should look at. Not, oh, I'm getting really demotivated because I have high expectations for myself. Other people also have really high expectations for themselves, and they don't reach and they don't reach the level that they're supposed to be at. But for them, it's not. For them, it's not necessarily, oh, I'm now really not enjoying myself, doing this. It's just further motivation for them to even push further. Because for me, I feel this so often, where I go, wow, my Japanese, I'm really struggling to read this sentence. This should be a basic sentence. I should be able to read this. For me, it's a genuine internal crisis where I feel physically my body feels a particular way about it. It doesn't feel that great. But then I sort of wake up the next morning and I am invigorated. It's the most pleasurable I have of engaging with Japanese. It is the most fun. It's so different for me. It's a renewed motivation to continue with my craft, that
So
I need to
the
continue.
difference would be that while for me it's demotivating and it makes me not want to keep going. For you, it kind of fuels you to keep going. Like you use it as motivation to know that you haven't, maybe you set a goal for yourself and those goals haven't been reached and you haven't met your expectations, so it makes you want to keep going, right?
Yes,
Got you.
100%.
Right, okay.
It's so contrary to the way I feel about it. I'm going, okay, we're feeling similar ways to it initially, in terms of we're compiling sort of similar information. But the
It's
way
when I
we
like react to it.
yeah, the way we react to the information is quite different. And I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
and this is why I expand it to just different things that you've told me about in your life, where I'm just a little bit more open in terms of who I am, as a person. And
Uh-huh.
I've of course received negative stimuli from expressing myself in a particular way. People knew, flow is something that people know about my YouTube channel in the real world. People know all about that.
Yeah.
People know about all my like me playing Minecraft, because I was uploading Minecraft at the time. So people knew about that. For me, that's not for me, that was not embarrassing to keep away. And of course, people would make fun out of me. People would, joke, but I just didn't really care until people just kind of didn't care also. So after a while, it just I say after a while as if there was, people tormenting me over it. No one really tormented me over it, but people would, go, oh yeah, that's, nerdy or whatever. Or, whatever the fuck, or you're not gonna get anywhere or something. As if I'm, having a YouTube channel for in the case of, trying to go big or whatever, instead of, a project where I wanna, share videos with, other people that I'm talking with online, like making Minecraft montages or whatever. But it's, for me, I was very open about who I was, but for you, it's very much the contrary in terms of you're not that open with who you are. And I've seen people, I knew there was a black guy gay, that went to my school, and yeah, he was open about being gay, and he absolutely got made fun out of by some people that were absolute cunts, by the way. Um, and yet he was able to, I mean, I don't know how it affected him. I was not that close to him, but it was to the point, it was to the point where, he's very fine engaging with he's very fine, he was very fine with being open about it, and he was very fine with having conversations about it with people. And why was he not hiding the fact that he was gay? Because because he's not stupid. He probably knows that there were going to be people that will make fun out of him because he engages in a particular way. But after the novelty factor wears off, no one just gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck about it. No one really pays it any attention, right? But that's not really the point I'm talking about. The point I'm talking about is what even induced him to be open about this particular thing. How come he wasn't like you, who hid it from everyone, or hid just core, I would say you core aspects of yourself that I would say, wow, I'm surprised other people didn't know. I'm surprised other people don't know that you like anime outside of close family members. I'm really surprised about that. Or other stuff that you do. To me, that's very surprising, because I couldn't help myself being open about those things. I fucking explode on people about the things that I like as a kid. And so, and it's not like I didn't know that I was, going to be memed or whatever. But by particular people, I just didn't care. I really didn't care. I still wanted to share the things that I liked. And the fact that you didn't, I think these are connected. To me, this Osu thing is connected with how you deal with negative information, and how you sort of interpret that information, and how that interpretation affects your feelings. I think these are probably connected things, in terms of you probably, negative information is probably really demotivating for you. It's really bad. You probably require that, when you, and remember what you said earlier about your mom. That was the first time, you got praise from your mom, and that was really important to you. For me, if my mom praised me, I'm going, you don't even understand what I'm doing. For me, it's, I need somebody that's very into what I'm doing to praise me, because then I know it's, oh, you understand, what I did there. Oh, yeah, mom, I got 246 on Doris. What the fuck does that mean? Or, oh, mom, I did level 1 Elden Ring. You don't know what the fuck that means. You have no idea. So it would be really weird, I'm very selective of who praises me, because I don't need that. I don't need that as motivation. But for you, it's a very profound thing, in terms of you remember that quite vividly. You've talked about your English quite a lot, in terms of your final year at secondary school. Over the years, you have mentioned that quite a lot, in terms of, I don't really know about your other subjects, but for English, I knew that, oh, that's a particular thing that you enjoyed. You particularly liked your teacher, blah blah blah. And now that I know that that was the first time you got praised by your mother, that, yeah, these are probably all really profound things for you, that aren't particular for me, is that that positive information is something that is actually really motivational for you, in comparison to me, where the negative is actually something that doesn't really affect me that much, but it super affects you. And I think you should consider that in terms of, it's not necessarily the place that you're in terms of, oh, I'm just doing really bad, and that's why I feel really bad about myself. It's in despite of that fact you're doing really badly, and you're also taking it really badly by doing really badly. Because just think about a classroom of kids, and some kids do really badly and they just don't care, whereas other people, it's deeply impactful for them, but then they get really motivated to do good, but some other people get really deeply impacted by it and then fall behind. People take things, the same information, really differently. I think you should consider that in the way you engage also, and the way you're taking negative information.
I think this conversation has made me realize that, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe a break isn't necessary. I think if anything, I just need to have a different outlook on how I'm approaching the game. Like, cause if I'm looking at the game like I have these expectations, but not meeting them makes me do even worse and makes me feel even worse. I don't know. Maybe I need to. Maybe number one, because of the way that you were saying that, the way that I react to the information of me not doing very well makes me do worse and makes me feel a lot worse about it. Maybe I need to, one, look at the information a different way and be like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not as good as I was, but I got there, so I can do it again, and I can do even better. If I did this, a month ago, then who's to say that I can't get to that point again and stay on that track of improvement? I think I've just had this unhealthy habit of just get on also every day and expect myself to be able to do well and improve. I don't know. Maybe a break isn't what I need. Maybe I just need to have a different outlook.
That's really hard to form, by the way. Getting a whole new perspective that you've,
Right.
probably internalized in your mind for years on years of, existing in the world. Just getting a new radical outlook.
I do this thing where it's like, I always would look at other people. So what I would used to do is I used to look at people that are around my level, maybe people that had played as much as me, or people that had been playing for as long as me, and I'd see them doing things that I couldn't do, and it'd really, really get to me. I'd compare myself to them, and I'd look at them, and it's like, what, they can do it, but I can't. I'm not good enough. Like, why can't I do what they can do? And it really put me down. So what I did is I just stopped looking. I just stopped looking. I stopped interacting with like the community like that, and I just kind of did my own thing and focused on myself. And that definitely did help. And I guess I still really do that. I don't like, the only people that I interact with in the game is Nair, who plays, who's 10 times worse than me because he's barely played the game, and people that are way better than me that have been playing for a lot longer than I have. So I don't expect myself to be able to do the things they can do because they've had way more practice, they've had way more experience and everything. So I did stop interacting with people around my level. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna cut you off because you're around my level. But I didn't really like speak to people around my level. I just stopped looking. I just stopped looking at, maybe it's like, oh, there's somebody that's like streaming also and they're around my level, but they're a lot better than me. Then I just stopped watching them, for example. And that definitely did help, because if I don't see people around my level do things better than me, then I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, you see that, right, where for you it's disengaging. Not saying that it's a bad thing to disengage with something.
So I guess I could put it in that sense. It's like, I looked at the information of this guy's better than me, and I took it a bad way, and it was negative for me. Where it's like, okay, he's better than me, so I'm going to use that as fuel to be better than them. It wasn't that. It was, they're better than me. That makes me feel bad. I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as they are. So what I did is, instead of changing the way that I seen it and the way that I react to that information, I just stopped taking the information in at all. So
yeah.
That's what I did, yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably the hardest thing to do, to be able to, I guess, change your outlook because that'll probably be the most profound change if it goes as deep as I think it goes in terms of other aspects of your life, where if you
Yeah,
change
no,
this,
probably, yeah.
it would probably be the most profound thing that happens to you in terms of confidence, in terms of how you feel about yourself in regards to, okay, let's say let's say, all I need to do is just, let's say I, create somebody that, or I get somebody right out of all the, billions of people exist, in the world. That's somebody that's just at your stage in life, all that stuff, right? Um, and how do they how do they look at the world in terms of I get like 10 people, let's say, that are in, sort of similar, they're not all the same, they're probably taking things differently than you. There isn't probably one homogenous outlook on the world. They probably, internalize information, the same information, differently in terms of the way they, um look on the world. And I think use that as, I say, look at the things that are possible. That's super for me, right? This is how I look at information in terms of what I like to do is I like to look at things that are possible and go, okay, this person can do it. Like this other person exists in a similar place to me, but they can do it. I'm feeling, to me, that's okay. There's something I'm clearly thinking about wrong. There's clearly something that I'm taking wrong. Maybe thinking. I don't know how that thought experiment makes you feel in terms of there are probably other people that take information than you better, and therefore they can propel themselves further. I don't know if that super motivates you. For me, there's a particular motivating thing where there are people on a similar existent plane of existence, and they can overcome deficits that I have, or which is basically, specifically in this example would be, bad mindset. How do I overcome a bad mindset? I think it's not going to be a journey that I mean, I'd be surprised if it is something that you can integrate quickly, where, oh, okay, now I just feel, because we're talking about feelings are super intuitive. They're not, oh, I just make myself feel a certain way. I've certainly changed my feelings on particular things, but that that's a long period of time for you to sort of change feelings on particular things, changing your outlook on particular things, things that are super, for you also probably something that's super important to you, and by extension your identity. And I think identity is probably something that when your identity is being threatened, it feels super bad. So I don't know how you would. I have no path for you to change your outlook on, the way you view things. But I would say just try what, just try what, just even consider that, maybe just actively thinking about it, that this is something that is likely self-induced. Think about that actively. Okay. Um, I don't have to feel this way. There's not something. There's not a way that I have to feel.
Okay, yeah. I think I think that could be helpful. Just even just taking it into consideration. When I'm playing, it's like, because my main focus right now is like improving my streaming ability, and
That was
I guess a
nice.
lot of, yeah, that was really nice. You had no reaction. Um, so yeah, I think if I look at it this way, just I feel like there's a good chance that I take a break, I come back to the game, and nothing could change, because I could still just not drop those bad habits that I have.
Mhm.
And as well as that, I mean, if I take a break, what if I come back and, because the thing about taking breaks, and also one of the main things that will just happen is you will just lose stamina. Your stamina is going to be worse, where your tapping arm is going to get more tired faster. Um,
Yeah, it's
on
like
lots of
Minecraft and
maps.
jitter clicking.
Yeah. So if you take that break, then that's going to be a big problem. Um, and I'd say that usually your other skills, sometimes for specific people, they might actually just be better than they were before, but a lot of the time it won't be. So maybe I won't take a break. Maybe I'll just try and have a different approach with the game and a different mindset.
hmm
I
You
think
should
that would be
write
very
write some of
helpful.
this stuff down in terms of get your thoughts. At least give your thoughts some material in terms of, okay, this is how I'm feeling. And yeah, if you want to share the thoughts with me, it's like, okay, this is how I feel. Or just with anyone in terms of anyone that you trust. In terms of, yeah, this is how I feel. These are the thoughts that are coming to mind when I'm. Oh, you're in the game. You're playing.
Yeah, but I just joined them. They're playing, but I'll play after they're done.
Yeah. Okay. It's yeah, give some physicality to some of the thoughts. This is how I'm feeling. Um, that might, I don't know, I should just thinking of anything that could possibly help you. I know you've said that you've written your thoughts down before. Write down your thoughts on, this is how it's making me feel, because maybe giving them material will let you, I guess you can look at them more coldly in terms of, these are not things in your head, these are now things on a page. When you say something in your head and it makes sense, but you say it out loud and it just, wow, that's really fucking stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever said.
Right.
You just give some physicality to your thoughts in terms of, wow, that's actually really fucking stupid. I don't know why I'm thinking this. This is actually a really dumb way to think. Giving some physicality to it might induce some, more, I guess, like more cold, a more cold way. Like your more, I guess, like logical brain might come out and go, wow, that's really fucking stupid. Yeah, that was actually dumb. I don't know what I was thinking about it like this. That might help you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I just gotta try out different things. Maybe I can try and tie it to other things that I've done in the past, to like, other remedies that I've used. M- you know, even just writing down, um, that, my thoughts in general, that I can do these things and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when people say, yeah, whenever you're not feeling good, write, having a journal to write down your thoughts or whatever could be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could do something similar.
Okay. I've got to go. So I mean, and unless you have more to say, kind of just finish reading this. I'm getting distracted from it.
Okay, no worries.
I'll see you
All right, man. See ya.
if I can even figure out how to end the call. Okay.